9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. Liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Roger, Tower.
Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. It is Saturday, April 19th, 2025. I'm Doug. This is Matt, MUFON Matt, and James Forsythe. Thank you, James. Thanks for being gracious enough to come back on. We spent an hour, and I didn't have James' audio on for the whole hour. So, he was kind enough to come back on and make you do a take two. I have to tell you, James, I did this with my wife because she comes on once in a while. She wasn't as happy about it to come back on.
No, I used to work for ESPN, so I understand.
There's
mess ups.
There's a lot of It tends to be especially dealing with a couple an amateur like me.
You got to triple check the continuity.
That's right. You get what you pay for here.
I know.
You guys do a great job.
I'm not paid. How's the weather in good old Pittsburgh today, sir?
Well, finally, we've beaten the 30 and 40 degrees, and now we're in the 60s and 70s.
Nice.
Holy crap! Spring is sprung.
Unbelievably, we had an 82-degree day yesterday.
Oh wow!
Nice.
Which was, as I mentioned to you guys before, we get less sunny days than most other places. So,
yeah. Go Steelers.
Yeah, go Steelers.
Go Steelers.
Yeah, sorry, Raider fan.
Go Steelers.
I've been sorry since 2002.
Yeah.
What
Now
year?
They're having trouble getting a quarterback.
They're having trouble doing a lot of things.
They are.
Playing in the field.
I think they've got I'm going to get roasted for this, but I think they've got the wrong owner.
Oh boy.
Omar Khan's been pretty good. I don't know. I can't pinpoint exactly what's up, except the quarterback coach, the coach, and the owner can't agree on a quarterback. So that's a dilemma.
Well, is that the latest? I haven't heard.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is going somewhere else, by what I heard.
Oh, really? He's not going to the Raiders, huh?
I have no idea yet.
Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't. They used to get a lot of. I think this is the sports corner.
Yeah.
They used to get a lot of has-beens and actually make them work.
Yes.
And a lot of them. And you didn't really care about it. Now I'm kind of like, oh, this doesn't work in today's football.
That seems to be the complaint of a lot of people, that Tomlin has not adapted to the times and kind of he's out of tune with his zeitgeist that he grew up in.
Yeah. So Jim, tell us about yourself. You talked about ESPN, but give us a little synopsis of your past and what you've been up. What has led up to this current time, sir.
Oh well, I've had experiences since I was a child. I mean, I've never had a time where I didn't have experiences, but I grew up in a coal town, Republic, PA, and my grandmother and grandfather came over from Italy in an arranged marriage. And from there, we grew up very humbly, and I had done everything from doing running papers, working in chocolate factories up to the time I was 18. Then I went into the Navy. Came out, and then I went to cosmetology school, opened a salon. We had a salon for a couple decades, and then I was married, got divorced after 21 years.
Cosmetology school?
Cosmetology, yeah. And then,
like cosmetics?
Yeah.
Doing people's hair,
Okay.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
wild.
did hair to Miss Pennsylvania once and some other things, so yeah. But anyway, from there, I went to work in the schools, building trades program with mentally challenged individuals, and then from there I got the job with ESPN, working on the PGA Tour and locally with the local teams. And then by 2024, I ended up with a brain tumor, which has me in my current situation. But as you know, I've had multiple unexplainable healings. So
that's incredible.
That's about where I'm at.
Tell us about your paranormal experiences, sir.
Well, they've always been normal to me until I got older. Growing up, I mean, it was a young child. I would see the shadow beings. I saw this Hat Man, the tall aliens in shadow form with the two smaller ones on each side, which actually, when they worked on you, two were by your hips and one by your head. Never thought anything about these experiences. As when I was like younger, before I was 5 years old. So my parents.
I'm going to interrupt real quick because we had a gentleman on last week, and he was abducted, and they had a tall one, and then was it an alien or more human-like? What did it look like?
No, it had the bulbous head.
Grays?
Yeah.
No, I know.
No, they were.
I never saw a gray.
Really?
Never saw a gray.
Yeah, this guy had, when he got abducted, the two, like, ebens were kind of floating, in the craft. And the large guy was really mean and angry looking. And he's the one that explained to him that he was, he was getting specimens taken. Well, he didn't tell him. He said he had many, because he had been taken before. He had many children, like hybrids. I'm assuming that's what he's referring to.
I was shown a hybrid once.
Where'd you see that?
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
Story along with it, but
okay, go ahead, sir.
The small ones. Whenever I would, my family, there was sometimes some arguments, and I used to go to bed traumatized, and I would just say, "Come get me. I don't want to be here. Please come get me."
Right.
I would go to sleep, and I would find myself in a dimensional space by all I can tell, because I can't tell if I was on a UFO or where I was. I found myself in a space prone with the large being in my head and the two smaller ones who basically just were very task oriented. But the main being always worked on me. He would work on my chakras, prepare me to deal with the world a little better. And, I would go on with my life. It wasn't until I was 18 that I was in high school, 77, and we're standing around this circle, and everybody's passing the bud. And one person, we're just talking, and somebody says, "Hey, you ever wake up paralyzed?" And the other people said, "Oh, yeah. And I said, "Oh, yeah." I said, "Then you see the three beings at the end of your bed?"
They're like, "No."
You just took it a little further than they probably thought.
And they're like, "What?"
And I just thought, I really expected them to say, "Oh, yeah," continue with the conversation. And they just all looked at me and said, "What three beings? What are you talking about?" And then...
And then they say, "I don't know you."
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they just dropped it. I mean, it's just like seeing a UFO. You get that ontological shock and you can't let it go,
Like, no more weed for you.
Right. And I had a few instances like that.
It's different now, though, right, Jim? I mean, you talk to people and they don't think you're nuts, right?
As much.
As much.
Depends on who you're talking to.
I always ask anybody.
Now you're not nuts, but you're demonically possessed or something like that.
Yeah.
My wife, I annoy my wife because bring Debbie up again. She hates it because I'll go out and I'll have I'll ask people randomly, "Do you believe have you ever seen a UFO?" We'll be at a craft fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of them, I actually had one that said, I grew up in the Bay Area here in San Francisco Bay Area. One said, this guy made knives out of railroad spikes at this craft fair. It's crazy. It was really cool. And he's like, yeah. Well, I asked his wife first, who was a Bigfoot nut. And she goes, my husband's seen the UFO over the Alameda, Alameda at the estuary there.
All right.
And You know, he says we were just fishing, and all of a sudden we saw a classic UFO just cruise and quietly through.
Yeah.
And he goes, I really
People
never...
accept it more, and a lot of people I'll talk to and tell them my experiences, and they'll go, "Wait a minute, I did have a being come out of my closet when I was a kid."
I just never had.
I think it jars people's memories sometimes when you talk about it.
Yes. And the shock, the ontological shock is real. So you got to be careful when you do speak with people, and be sensitive to where their psyche is at the moment. So you just don't want to open somebody up, right away, because it does change your focus, it changes your interest, it changes your beingness, it changes your consciousness. So, but by what I understand, you don't get more than what you can handle.
Yeah.
They blow you up a little bit, let your mind expand, and then just a little bit more, and a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, I've always had it help. I'd get instances of knowing, of intuitions from these beings. I've had multiple healings. The biggest thing they've done with me is healed me my whole life, in my younger years, and then taught me how to heal, and actually healing other people through using divine light, thought energy, heart-centered energy, visualization, things like this. As I told you before, I had a brain surgery. They first in the 80s, I was hospitalized for my appendix, and they were ready to burst. So the doctors had immediately took me in and said, "We have to operate the next day." They said they were ready to burst, and overnight I did my light work. I did my visualizations. Picturing everything normal, everything. Next day the doctor comes in and starts checking things and taking tests, and then he starts looking a little frantic. And I asked him, "What's the matter?" He said, "Well, the white blood cell count's back down to normal." And I said, "Oh, my appendix must have healed." And he basically screamed at me and told me appendix don't heal.
Right.
Never spoken to me, never gave me an outtake visitation, and just discharged me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And never a problem since with my appendix. Since then, when I was little, they would teach me how to just visualize feeling better if I was ill, or, healing cuts quickly, or things like that. In 2004, I had the brain surgery. They told me I wouldn't survive. If I did survive, they said I would be brain damaged, paralyzed, in vegetable state.
Oh, wow.
I had a craniopharyngeal resection for a hypothalamic pituitary tumor that was about the size of a golf ball underneath my hypothalamus, that had ganglia grow off of it and wrapped around my pituitary, thyroid, hypothalamus, and 95% of my optic nerves back here. And it calcified. A friend of mine took me to hospital. I worked with him. He was a pharmacist, and he noticed we used to speak very heavy esoteric things, and he noticed very subtle things that nobody else noticed. And he said he wanted to take me to the hospital. Actually, he took me to dinner. He told me later he thought it would be my last supper, and he took me to the hospital and told him he thought I had a brain tumor. And they took the X-rays and they found it, and they set me up for the surgery. 70% of people that had the surgery did not survive. 30% are brain damaged and in vegetable state, paralyzed. And if you look this up, it says one person is doing very well. I had a 14-hour-long surgery with 4 different doctors. My whole head was taken apart. This was cut here. There's the whole forehead. It's in puzzle pieces.
Oh, wow.
The scar, I don't know if you can see from
I
here.
can see a little bit of scar, yeah.
And they just skinned my head and cut my forehead apart, lifted the frontal lobe, and they cut right down the middle of the brain through the corpus callosum that connects both halves of the brain.
Right.
And then they had to resect that. And they had to chop up all that ganglia. Um, they pulled the optic nerves off the optic membrane. Then I was a guinea pig for this part where they pulled this eye out, drilled through on my own eye, nose, and throat, and pulled everything out. I have less than 5% vision in this eye. Most people can't tell I have vision problems, but
No.
they they said they couldn't explain it. They said they never saw a more relaxed brain, was their statement, and that I never bled, which they cannot explain because cutting the head and cutting through the brain so severely produces the severe bleeding, which does cause the brain damage or even death.
Right.
I ended up with 7 life-threatening illnesses from Parkinson's, vascular disease, peripheral arterial disease, cardiopulmonary disease, chronic renal insufficiency, panhypopituitarism, hypogonadism, hypothyroidism, just a long list of illnesses. And my doctors can't explain how I mean, my endocrinologist, when she sees me, she goes, "Oh, your record, everything's reading normal." She says, "I can't explain how you're even speaking to me with your consciousness, and let alone how your organs are working, because the pituitary is the master gland. So a lot of my organs, the kidneys and other things should be shutting down, and they're not." And my IQ leapt between all this with this severe, which I've read about, the people, if they go through some severe experience, can have a leap in IQ. So that happened with me. And my case is listed as miraculous unexplainable.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's just scary.
I was never scared. I was never scared. No, I had a being come to me right before my friend took me to the hospital, and it was a being, I've never saw one like this. It was a form of a body. The whole body was filled with like the universe, you just looking into the universe, and it projected love and just a very beautiful feeling, very calming, loving, peaceful feeling.
That's how it's described. I remember the Jake Barber, the helicopter pilot. The guy, he picked up a craft. He was a craft retrieval guy, allegedly. And he said that's the feeling he got. It's a feeling of well-being, when he came in contact.
It's maybe at some point we'll be able to transfer this to each other, but it's one of the things, these type of feelings that they project into you, and the things that you feel are what changes you consciously and changes the molecular structure in your body. I mean, we're so used to abusing each other and causing trauma in each other. These beings are doing the exact opposite, and it has incredible effects on the human body and the human mind and our abilities.
And you said they taught this to you early, right? When you were younger?
Well, when I was not younger, no, they healed me.
Okay.
And as I got a little bit older, I started, you were led into things to look for, so, and they led me into, well, actually, how I got led into it was, I was shown, a being took me up. It was a mantis being, would hold me by my right elbow. And if he was going to show me things, he would, show me around and push me towards what he wanted me to see, or she wanted me to see. And
did it feel like a female?
It did. It was.
That's the same thing Barber said. Felt female.
Yeah.
Felt like it was maternal.
Feminine.
Yeah, the mantis, the tall, thin, bulbous head, not the mantis, but the bulbous head being that would come to my bed also felt feminine, and the tall being that would be with the small ones that would work on my chakras also felt feminine. But I would try to look at this being, and he would
turn you away.
Yeah, don't look at me. Look at what I'm trying to show you. You
right.
know? And he showed me this board with these shapes, and it was all lit up in these flame colors. Red, orange, blue, and you take this stuff in, and later your subconscious and your conscious mind help process this stuff. Well, it triggered me to start looking into flame letters. It just came to me, so I started to just, researching flame letters like Arabic and Aramaic and things like this. And so I started working with these letters. And these flame letters supposedly were developed in the movie Moses. I think they try to depict it with the flame putting the words on the rock, burning the letters into the rock.
Right.
But anyway, these supposedly are phosphine flare patterns that came off the membrane of the highest divine. That when we work with them, they activate our phosphine flare patterns of our brains, which actually activate your atavic or ancient self. And you can start receiving knowledge that way. It's also a way for communication because these letters actually contain information within themselves. They're both letters and numbers at the same time, but they hold deep correspondences within themselves. And each letters are permutations of the one before and the one after. So they're like combined frontwards and backwards. So really fascinating stuff that helped me a lot. And
did the brain surgery kind of open up your communication any better than you had before?
no, my communication was very, very heavy from 91 to my surgery. After my surgery, I receive now downloads. I'm not, by what I understand, the program of coming and taking people and I think that program's over by what I understand. So now, I receive downloads. I receive like little pushes unconsciously or whatever if I need to find something or look for something. I would go into a bookstore. I'm trying to find a book I had a long time ago that got lost, and I went into a bookstore. And this is how it kind of happens. I'm looking for this book. I asked the person working there to tell me the book is out of print. It's gone. It will never be seen again. I'm going through the bookstore. I'm looking for something. I can't find anything of interest. I keep looking over at this little book with these flowers on it. Okay? It just says the Kabbalah. Nothing about the author, anything. I kept looking around. I kept looking back at this book, and I was like, okay, I got to pay attention to what I'm being pushed to show this. I go over and look at it. I open it up, and it's the exact book I was looking for.
Oh, wow.
Different format, different name.
Oh, wow.
The store had no idea that this was even connected with the initial book.
Oh, wow. That is
And
crazy.
I had a friend with me, and I was explaining stuff to her, and then we were there. This happened. So,
Oh, that's
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, that's kind of how it happens.
Wow.
And the same way with meeting people, But yeah, they give you mental downloads, or they'll draw your attention, But
That's
you've
crazy.
got to be, you got to pay attention. It's very subtle. So
Yeah.
after so long, you start recognizing these subtle pushes, So,
And you said the program ended? Like it stopped?
but
Or
by what I understand, a lot of this stuff, I know we are not producing enough children. Our sperm counts are so low.
yeah, I've heard that before.
We're not producing enough people we're basically on a human extinction
Yep.
timeline.
Yeah,
And
I've
these
heard
beings know this.
that. Right.
And they've, I believe some of these are our progenitors, and they care for us, And
That's been said before.
yeah. And I think this is the hybrid program. Might have to do with this. And I think there's even greater things going on than that I don't want to get into. But
Get into it, Jim. We're not scared.
I've heard
Yeah.
the program has ended before too from a few other abductees saying that it's But that they still also get downloads or
Yes, yeah. You're,
intuition, is well trained.
yeah, you're kind of upgraded to a bit where
Correct.
you're on your own now. You're not really on your own, but you can function more in these levels of consciousness
Yeah.
more fluidly by yourself, and then you get help from there on out.
Yeah.
You know.
Are you
So,
married? Are you
but
married, Jim?
I was married 1981 for 21 years. My wife left me. She had a house with another man and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So
Mine lasted 32 years and a couple kids and done. Up to this day, I don't know why.
well,
No comment from me on
you know,
You're
we
next.
have
What's
these-
your story?
Nothing.
We have these contracts. We have these contracts
Let's talk
together,
about
and then once they some are eternal, some are they complete their process, and
Time to go.
the union ends.
Yep.
It's growth. It's all growth.
Yeah.
Do you have
You can-
kids? Do you have kids, Jim?
I have a 30-year-old daughter. I haven't seen her since she was 13.
Oh no.
She's doing very well. She just got her master's degree in
Good.
science.
Nice. Congrats.
Yeah.
Very good.
She talks to me online, just like texting now and then. But
That's all kids.
That's
That's
just
normal.
yours. That's everybody.
That's a good thing for you. Actually, that's normal. That's expect.
You
that.
call them on the phone and they act
they
like
hang
they
up.
don't know what to do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know she's doing well.
Yeah,
And
awesome.
She's doing very well.
That's good.
Yeah. So, but my experience, I was saying, my experience is going from 91. Like I've had experiences from 71 where I saw the mantis for the first time
Right.
pop up out on my floor, land.
That's kind of. Then you weren't scared. You just,
I was no. The only thing that was intimidating. I was never scared of these beings.
if I had a mantis pop out on my floor, I think I'd be a little scared. Might
The only
lose.
thing intimidating. This is when I was at puberty, 12 years old. Okay. These now you got to remember since childhood, I would call these beings. They would come help me.
Yeah. Yeah. He
You know?
kind of brought them on.
So I mean, how would a 3, 4, 5-year-old know who to call? I didn't even know who I was calling, but I knew somebody would hear me. And what was I saying?
The mantis.
Yeah.
In the floor, coming out of the floor.
Yeah, the only thing intimidating about it was when I was at puberty, which is I understand a lot of people have these experiences with puberty, but he gave me a mind scan, where and they move funny. They'll go from here to here. There'll be a split in time from here to here, and they'll be like jumping in their movement. It's I forget the movie, but there was a movie that kind of depicted this very well. With William Forsythe was the character.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name of the movie.
The cell.
Okay.
The cell.
Yeah.
But in there, they depicted that movement like that, and that's exactly how they moved. But the intimidating thing was when he came
Really
here
close.
to here,
Yeah.
and no. Now wasn't scary, but it was.
It kind of-
it alerted me, and then as he's scanning in my head, I'm looking in the eyes, and there's like a green. I think they glowed green. I think they live off of their sustenance is light.
Was there an aura around it, or just they glowed, just themselves?
It basically, it wasn't an aura, just the being itself. The color was like a fluorescent green, and when it got in my face, the eyes, they're slanted, like this, but there were green swirls, and it was like moving like viscous fluid,
Yeah.
Oh wow!
in the eyes. So I mean, these are kind of things it didn't. The only thing that intimidated me was the fast movement. But
They never gave you a reason to intimidate you, right? I mean, they're teaching you and guiding you. So, right.
yeah, the only people I've had cause me problems were
People.
humans.
Yeah. As people.
Yeah, we are the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, once again, it's all growth. I mean, our experiences do have effect on others too, even though it, I mean, I got attacked heavily by my family after.
Oh, I imagine.
trying to put me away and everything, and trying to commit me a few times, and the doctors
no.
helped me, and so, but they've grown, and
Are you better with your family now? I mean, or just now?
yeah, I saw them last year, first time. Well, I saw them in 2015, first time in 8 years. Then again last year, and then they came here, and they got to see the people I know, and they met some of the Steeler players that like me, and they saw that.
Nice.
I've done videos for the DA, the judge is my friend. I mean, I've made some good relationships down here, and they saw that. So
That's awesome.
they, and the thing was, they saw stuff with me, but they
They blocked it?
it was just all part of the process.
Yeah.
I had to go through that. Actually, what they did and it gave me a little more self-reliability, and made me more resourceful, and it actually caused growth in them. So we can choose to be poor, pitiful me, look what happened to me, or we can learn and grow. And the only two constants in the universe is expansion and contraction. And I'm all for expansion of mind and understanding and beingness, because that's why we're here. It's like a machine that puts us through this process. We go through these experiences, puts us through these cycles that bring us to these experiences.
Right.
Did they give you any indication of what are they extraterrestrial, or are they just something from another dimension?
I've never had beings tell me, "Oh, we're from here."
No.
Yeah.
"Oh, we are so and so." No,
That's science fiction stuff.
Transparent.
Yeah.
It's all transparent thought. There's no lying. There's no hiding. It's just, hey, we're here. We're helping. And we're gone.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
No.
They don't say why they're helping?
No. I always worked out of love
Okay.
and healing. Like when my family attacked me, I put me in front of anybody. I went through it willingly.
Right.
I figured, well, here, I'll show them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when people were doing that, they're working more in deception now. Like, oh, look, he's crazy. Don't believe what he says, because he's going to tell you we did this. But eventually, it moves on. Once they saw a different, how resourceful I was, everything I've done since then, and plus dealing with a brain surgery and healing at the same time. So, I came back here. I was working. I did a lot of work with the Steelers, with pictures and videos for their radio shows, and with Pitt, and with the DA when he needs videos, he calls me. And
who's your favorite Steeler player of all time?
I call my photography blind boy photography.
Hey, Jim, who's your favorite Steeler player of all time?
Oh goodness. I guess I have to say Jerome Bettis. I worked with him, and I met
The
him.
bus?
The bus.
Yeah,
He's got a restaurant there, doesn't he? In Pittsburgh?
yeah, he does.
I went to that.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, really good guy. I remember I was working for ESPN, and I came off the PGA Tour, and I'm down back in the tunnel, and I come around a corner, and Jerome's coming right at me, and I look up, and I guess
Yeah.
Whoa! It's the bus.
Yeah, and
Hit by the bus.
he stopped. He says, "You okay? You all right?"
He blocked out the sun. I'm good.
I said, "Sure." I said, "Nice to meet you, Jerome."
Yeah.
And he put out his hand, and I got.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's like this big. It's
He
huge.
put his hand. I mean, I
Like
got a
the
good
Hulk.
10-inch span.
Yeah, you look like you got. Yeah.
He put his hand around my hand. His fingers
All the way around.
Yeah, I mean, next time you get a chance, take a look at the size of his hands.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing.
That's
And I
awesome.
was down on the field by the 10-yard line. I don't know if you guys remember when he took this running play, and there was a collision like you wouldn't believe, knocked him out. And down on the field,
vaguely.
what that sounded like was disturbing.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know how the guy felt that he hit, but
Not too well, I'm sure.
yeah.
He's still shaking from it.
Yeah, he was just something else. But I like Roethlisberger a lot too.
Yeah.
And James Conner, I knew James Conner. He's a good guy too, but he's not with the Steelers anymore.
Yeah.
Mike Sullivan's a really good guy, the quarterback coach. Really, really good guy. So there's that whole team. Coach Tomlin, I know Coach too. Coach is a good guy. Very down to earth people. So they're Pittsburghers.
Yeah.
So, did you know we were offered the name of America's team before Dallas?
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and Rooney told them, they said, we are not America's team, we're Pittsburgh's team.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave it to the Dallas Cowboys.
They can have it.
Yeah.
Look what they've done with it.
Yeah.
Some good,
So
some
hopefully in a year or two we'll see some another Super Bowl team, I hope, because they really have a lot of guys jumping on the team that have some talent. Just we need to get a quarterback.
I'm glad you guys have hope. I just...
It's switched to football again, you know?
I know. I get so excited. Last year I was all excited, and then, we had Antonio Pierce, and we had all this hope, and then it just degraded so quickly. It was unbelievable. Derek Carr,
They've
was gone.
I can't comment
They've
on
had
it.
a running of that, yeah.
I got
But anyway,
friends.
Where do I want to go with this?
Question. So do you think these entities, they need us or we need them, or is it kind of a shared...
We're I
or none of
believe consciousness is the unified field. And these beings are part of us and no part of us at the same time. They have their own, but they're also part of our they're part of our layered consciousness.
Right.
As we go up through the densities, from the dense earth through the different layers of densities. And we can communicate because we're connected.
Right.
Through layered consciousness. And so that's why they can see no part of ourselves with these UFOs outside of us, and then we're also
very part of
within us.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going through some heavy stuff with my wife, who was a witch, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I got I was doing some heavy light work, and I got activated, and I was led through this Essene ritual, which they helped me with. Now, one thing I wanted to tell you about this was last time I spoke about the doctor I went to go see.
Yeah.
This was on the air, but Dr. Bullen put me in touch with an asset clinician who I went to go see. He was very fascinated with my case. He actually saw me for free twice for 4 hours. And I knew something was going on, but I went down to see him. 4-hour drive down to Athens, Ohio, and I had to fill out all this paperwork. Have you ever had this? Have you ever had this? Have you ever had healings? And then I realized actually, I did have healings, and just writing all of this stuff. Then I have to go in his office, and then he's reading it and asking me little questions here and there. But very, very, very talented man, and as he's looking through my stuff, I'm in his office. It's in his basement. His wife's upstairs. I'm very nervous. I don't know what to expect. And I'm looking around, and he has these beautiful spiritual pictures around, and I'm looking at them, and I felt a drop in anxiety. He's looking at my stuff and writing stuff down. He never looks up at me. He says, you realize you just lowered the vibrational rate in this room by 1,000 decibels.
Oh.
I said, yeah, well, I told him, well, yeah, I was nervous, and I was looking at pictures, and he called me, and We continued, and he's asking me a question here and there, and then I'm sitting there, and I'm just still absorbing where I'm at. Okay, I'm in his house. I hear somebody upstairs. She's cooking. I can hear pots. I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, gee, I hope I'm not taking time from him and his wife on a Saturday.
Right.
He looks up at me. He says, "What about my wife?" I said, geez, I just was hoping I wasn't taking time from you and her on a Saturday. He says, no, no. My wife knows why I do this, and this is the exact reason why. He says, I've never met one other person being pushed as hard as you. He says, so this is why I do it, because I love this work, and it's helps me too. So, he was looking at my journal. I was trying to figure out what Merkaba mysticism was, and here he's telling me I'm doing Merkaba mysticism. So, but I saw him twice for 4 hours each. He basically convinced me that your experiences are real. You're psychic. You're being pushed pretty hard. And as I was speaking with him in between, I mean, I'm asking him questions. He's asking me about my experiences, and was pretty fascinated that all my experiences I remembered consciously. There was no type of block for my memories. And I'm doing my work, so I asked him. I said, "What?" I told you about the letters and all this. What I thought. So I asked him about the Essenes. So he barked at me and said, "The Essenes, nobody knows what they did." So we finished our stay, and then at Christmas 2001, between Christmas and New Year's, I was doing the divine work, bringing in the light, formulating a cross inside my body, surrounding myself with forming a torus donut, cycling energy. I get activated, and I get a very kind being, like a mind meld, leads me through a 4-hour Essene ritual. My family saw this. Afterwards, they tried to commit me. The doctors said there's nothing wrong with this guy, and they had MHMR come in, and they were telling them everything that happens, and they're not concerned. They're going, "Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's wonderful," and this. So, anyway, they let me go. I called Dr. Schroed. I told him I had seen UFOs, I see spirits, I've seen aliens, this kind of stuff.
Right.
I said, Dr. Schroed, I had an experience the other night. He says, yes, you did an Essene ritual, and I have to do one this Friday.
Oh wow.
Now, was it him that led me through this?
Right.
Wow.
But it wasn't a clearing of energies. It was like a type of energy exorcism. Not like from demonic, but just like clearing up thoughts and stuff like this. So,
Yeah.
and I told him, I said, well, they took my daughter. He told me, he says, oh no, he said, it's your wife, and she's getting him help, and now you're in for the fight of your life.
Oh.
So, but my wife took all the money out of the bank. She took my name off the shop. I had to come to Pittsburgh and stay in a friend's basement, another friend's attic for 3 months till I was able to get an apartment. And that's when they helped me get local work to work with the Steelers and all that. So,
Right.
Yeah. I was wondering how you got with him. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guy from the PGA Tour. He came up to me. He knew I was having problems with my wife. My nephew told him, and he says, we need hard workers in Pittsburgh. He says, and I'm going to tell them to hire you, because on the PGA Tour, I've worked very, very hard, and they all called me Uncle Jim because my nephew worked for me with me. But
Oh wow.
he came up and told me, he says, you're a very hard worker, and we're going to help you get local work because we know what's going on with your wife. So they were very helpful.
Very cool. Are you religious, Jim? You go to church?
I'm spiritual.
Everybody says that. I say that too.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen nothing wrong with church. I mean, a lot of people need it.
That's how I feel.
I think this is our temple.
Yeah.
And that's what another thing what this is all about. You know, I mean, this is all a process of ascension. You know,
Yeah.
and
Well, there's a lot of things that are lateral to these experiences compared to religious writings, I should say, because the Bible isn't a history book. The Bible's what you interpret it as, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a concord. Yeah, it's a concordance.
you know,
Maybe two bishops punched each other in the nose over an argument over the Trinity, so
yeah,
during the council, you know.
yeah.
So, but I think this has gone beyond religion because they've taken the heat off a bit and are using it to control people instead of.
For good.
Yeah, I mean, all this stuff is kind of hidden from the common man in a basic way with the knowledge, you know. So, there's more to it than what's given to you in religion. But again, some people need religion because it's a stepping stone to awakening, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it has its purpose. I mean,
Yes.
it could be just
Yes.
social, you know, being something. So, I mean, we're members of the Mutual UFO Network, probably as close to church as I'll ever get.
Yeah.
You know, we have 25 people that join.
Well,
meet
you're
once.
just dealing with it on a different angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and you know, that's I don't know if it's mass, but that's kind of my church. Because
You know,
this
I
is
mean-
what we talk about all the time.
Music
Yeah,
is
well,
my
you're-
church.
Use your
You're
church.
helping to open up new information.
Found your religion.
Yeah.
You
Music.
know.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of books, when's your book going to come out?
I should write one. Carol was telling me I need to write one.
I keep annoying him about writing one too. Since the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You need one.
Have you started writing it?
I'd buy
I
it.
think I'll get around to it.
You have kind of are you reading an outline, kind of an outline of?
It's always going in the back of my head. I don't think it would be too hard to write.
Well, you can tell your story and get someone else to write too, if it's
Yeah,
that's
I could probably do it.
I bet you could, too.
I'm pretty good with words.
Yep.
and-
well.
You should do it. Get your story out. I mean, have
I'll
you been
buy
on?
it.
Have you been on any other podcasts?
I was on William Henry was on Coast to Coast once talking about
Nice.
his rainbow body courses and stuff like this, and I came on and spoke to him
Oh, very
about my
nice.
experiences in that. George Laurie said, "Geez, it looks like somebody already took your classes, William."
Yeah, right. Ahead of time.
But I was interviewed by the two brothers.
Two brothers. Cousins? No.
Oh, what are their names?
We'll get you on the
Well,
fade.
Blake and
Blake Cousins. Yeah.
Yes. I was interviewed on their show in the call in, and
Nice.
What's their show?
Something Moon.
Oh, okay, I haven't heard of that one.
It's on YouTube. Look up
Interesting.
UFO Moon Show or something. I'm sure you
that's
find
okay.
it.
here. Let me.
We'll get you on
We'll dig
Fade to
it.
Black. You can get
Yeah, you need to go on Jimmy Church.
Jimmy Church. He's amazing.
Yeah, we just had an interviewee that was just on.
Yep.
We were there. We interviewed her first.
First,
though.
yeah. Ella, was it
Ella LeBain.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we help other people too. I told you about the time. I think it's pretty interesting, so I'll say it here about the time that I had these very heavy experiences, and one of my friends started questioning me about what are you talking about? You see UFOs, and we're standing outside my house on a summer day, and it's dusk. And as soon as he said that, the street was long, and the end street came to a T. So, and you could see the houses, and behind the houses, just halfway up, was a ship shaped like this.
Yeah.
Had light here, maybe a green light here, and had lights here and here, just on the tips.
That's awesome.
And it's like going
Wow.
behind the houses like this slow.
I'm trying to do that with Doug.
And so I tell him, I said, well, what is that?
That's awesome.
Well, he sees it, and turns back at me and spits in my face, saying that I pulled him into my delusion.
Oh, shit. See, some people you're just never going to convince, so don't even try.
Yeah, and he sat there.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
No, he sat this a few years before this. He's sitting there to tell me how his mother saw a UFO sit over their house, like the one I told you with the colors, the orange, red, blue, for like hours. And she was interviewed by, I don't know if it was Stan Gordon or who, but
is she delusion too?
so he accepted that story.
Oh, okay, of course.
But the thing is, once again, it took him beyond his comfort zone into that ontological shock of his perception of reality.
Exactly.
And boom,
Yeah.
Now that's for him to deal with from that point on. But you got to spend time with yourself alone. Now, that's when you're going to deal with it. So.
Absolutely.
Are you a musician? Have you ever played any instruments?
Yeah, I used to play some congas. I played guitar. I played the theremin. Yeah. Love music.
We got to teach Doug how to play some music.
Ever since I was a kid, I used music for to put in altered states.
Same. Yeah. Since I was a kid.
Yeah, they say there's some connection, which I always ask in interviewees because there's some connection between being prone to being able to perform or play musical instruments or sing or something.
Yeah.
You know, we have another co-host that she is in a choir, and I don't think she's seen anything though, has she?
She sings, I think.
Yeah, but has she seen anything?
No, I don't think
she's
so.
seen anything.
I don't know if I think all experiences are right brain, so that's
correct. I agree.
Yeah.
Art.
Here's a device I like to use. It's a Casino mind machine. I used one with Robert Anton Wilson in '95.
Right.
But it uses binaural beats and about 256 or 300 shades of colors.
Nice.
And can put you in different states, mind states, healthy mind states.
Right.
This one's really advanced. It can put you in shamanic states. It can put you in deep, the alpha or beta, alpha, theta, delta states.
Right.
So theta and delta is the mystical state theta, or the theta delta is the deep sleep or right asleep state, and then the deep sleep. So this can put you in those deep states.
That's awesome.
What it does is it defragments your mind.
Right.
And hemisyncs both sides of the brain, and actually raises IQ. This one has some gamma states in it, but it also uses music encoded with binaural beats too. But it does raise IQ.
I could use that.
It can help you with energies like 5G and stuff like this, because you're programming yourself with energies over that. So it has effects with all that kind of stuff too. So.
Help you sleep? Did you say it helps you sleep?
Oh, it'll take you deep into delta.
Wow.
It'll take you through the different states and slow you down into delta where you're out. Then it'll bring you back up to theta, right above theta, where you can take it off, turn it off, and put it down, and go right back to sleep.
You can get that on Amazon or something?
I would go to mindplace.com.
Mindplace.com.
Mindplace?
Yeah. And then they have.
Is that me or you?
I think it's me. Let me turn me down.
I don't know where my Gans. There's Gansfield frames. Oh, here they are.
Mindplace.com.
I don't know, but if it can help you sleep, I'd save a fortune in vodka.
Oh no, it'll knock you out. It'll knock you out. It will also, like, if you get halfway through the day and you're tired and you have more to do.
Yeah.
It can take you and put you into these states, take you down into delta, bring you back up slowly, and leave you into a beta state, alpha beta state. So then you can. Feels like you slept, and then you can just.
It feels like you got some rest. Oh, that's.
I had an older woman come here from the building. She says, "Jimmy, you told me about that machine. I want to try it." And she was having trouble getting through a day, so I gave her a session.
I sent you the link.
Thanks.
She went home. She came back the next day. She said, "Where did you buy that damn thing, and how much does it cost?" She said, "I went home." She said, "I not only cleaned my kitchen, I cleaned my bathroom.
Nice. I'm going to have to try that.
they come with these regular light frames, but these are
Right.
worth buying. These are the Gansfield full frame glasses.
Right.
The other ones use these little squares that produce these lights. This
Correct.
one uses very deep pastel colors and deep colors, and actually will create some visualization and it puts you into a deeper state. So it's very much worth getting the Gansfield frames,
Okay.
which are $100 extra. So it would be
Right.
about $400 total.
That's what I was thinking. About $300-$400.
Yeah, but it's it's a way to meta-program yourself instead of being meta-programmed
By everything
all
else.
this all this noise around us.
Some minutia that we go through
Yep.
every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Well,
good.
this is what it's about: consciousness. It's all
Correct.
about consciousness and being at peak performance.
Yep.
If we're not, we're just we're just in a state of being thrown around by whatever energies come out towards us.
That's true.
Which you see most people have been dealing with. I stay in a pretty stable mind state. With my practices. So.
Yeah.
Consistently wake up every day in a good mood, grateful for each day.
Yeah, I'm going to need that. Are you working now, or did you retire?
No, I can't work.
I was going to say,
I do some photography and that. And I like I said, I help.
You
write some
volunteer?
treatments with- yeah, I mean, just around town, like if some events they need a photographer or something. But
That's awesome.
I just donate my time because it's something I love. So.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Other than that, I'm going through my days, just making sure I'm getting my medication, make sure I'm getting my food. That's very routine, because being ill is like almost
That's
more than a part-time job.
yeah. You have a website or anything you want to
Yeah.
plug or nothing?
Nothing you want to pimp for us, or having us pimp for you?
No,
The book. He's gonna write the book.
I got it.
Then now, after you write the book, now we got to bring you back on.
That's right.
Afterwards,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
we got to promote your book. And well, Jim, you have anything else, or we can go ahead and you want to go ahead and wrap it up, or
No, I'm fine as long as you guys
Yeah.
have anything else you need.
Thank you so much.
I hope I wasn't too flitty.
You are perfect. No, thank you so much.
no, it worked out very
Hopefully this went well. We talked to the
I
engineer.
Yeah.
really
Over here.
enjoyed speaking with you guys. We
Same.
make it very, very simple to speak to.
That's right.
We try to be just regular guys,
Yeah.
We bring people on to share their experiences.
Exactly.
We have people on
Yeah.
that have never been on a podcast or never
Yeah.
done an interview, or
We're a good start.
so it's a good starting place usually for people.
Well, everybody speaks well. Your Constance is the one that
Oh, Constance Victoria
Yes.
Briggs, yes, we've
Yes.
had her on a couple of times.
Yeah,
She's
she's
awesome.
awesome.
I said I'm nervous about this. He said they're a bunch of good guys.
They-
Yeah, we're
Yep.
okay. We're okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. He's okay.
Well, I'll have to thank her for the good reference.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right. Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Probe Podcast. And welcome comments, questions, and requests to alienprobepodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Check out our website, alienprobe.net, Twitter and Instagram at Alien Probe Pod, YouTube, Rumble, and Patreon. We're on video. Check out Jim's smiling face. In
Yes.
about 1 week, Jim, if you don't see it this week, don't panic. I have one episode ahead of you with Ella LeBain, which should be interesting. I got to put up.
Get that book
I'll make,
out.
I'll make sure to listen to it. I'll do that.
All right, sir.
I'm going to get on that.
It was nice talking to you, Jim.
Nice talking to you, Jim. Thanks for coming
My
on,
pleasure.
sir. All right, take care.
Have a good Easter.
You too.